We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south-of-the-border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside. Or maybe you're in the mood for seafood. Big Sur Oyster Bar has fresh seafood prepared right before your eyes. Savor freshly shucked oysters, crab legs jambalaya, shrimp and lobster. Beers on tap and a selection of fine wines are perfect to pair with your seafood favorite. Whether lunch or dinner, you'll love this fun atmosphere, located just off the casino floor. Ready to shake things up? Step back in time and treat yourself to one of the oldest restaurant chains in the country. Steak and Shake, famous for original mouth-watering steak burgers and hand-dipped milkshakes in a variety of flavors. For some old-fashioned fun, try Steak and Shake.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book. Sports by the book, South Point Studio.
We don't make stuff up here.
I would only play the Pirates team total going under.
What the hell happened to Minnesota's pitching?
This total is really crashed without plumbing the lineup. I think this number's too high, but they're laying me the 6.
Oh, I know.
Caitlin Clark drives handle on the WNBA.
Never mind all these Mickey Mouse other stations. We are giving you hands-on information.
It's Sports by the Book at the South Point Studio. Here's Jeff Parles and Alex White.
Good morning. Welcome in. It is a new week here at Sports by the Book. I am Jeff Parles. She is Alex White. New week, Alex. We try to get a roll with some wins here today.
That's right. We've got a full card. All teams in play today in the MLB. And then, of course, make sure and keep checking our YouTube channel because football previews are coming out.
Did our soft launch of the NFL last week. Team previews starting to come this week. Today, actually, not today, even though it won't be coming out later today. We are on Carolina today. You and I are doing that after the show. Be some Bryce Young discussion. At some point this week, we'll record Dwayne Colucci's Dallas Cowboys, which, it's interesting. Chris, we talked about the Cowboys with Chris a lot on Friday, that the Cowboys might actually be going into the year underrated, which is a rarity, as we know. But, let's just bring him in. Our good friend Dwayne Colucci joins us right now, Race at Sportsbook director up at the Rampart in lovely Summerlin, Las Vegas, Nevada. DC, good morning. And, I'm going to just start there. We had Chris on Friday with us. We talked a lot of football. The Cowboys came up a lot, actually, because it's like, when's the last time we can remember Dallas?
Why? I mean, that's what Chris fails to tell you. Oh, yeah, they're coming in underrated because they're horrible.
All right, I'm giving you the floor.
You got to substantiate a little. They are horrible. That's why they're the third best team in a 4-team division, and the Giants are behind them. So, the Giants are basically rebuilding. Dallas has no direction. Ownership still has no direction. General manager has no direction. Coming in with a new head coach. So, yeah, from a Cowboy perspective, because people blindly bet them. They're coming in underrated, but there's a reason. They're not a good team. They're not fielding a good team that could compete with the upper echelon of the NFC, in my opinion. And, the NFC has some really, really good teams that are looking to put themselves back on the map. I mean, you have the Super Bowl champion in your division. You have the Washington Commanders, who are one of the younger uprising teams in your division. Then you have a stacked division where you have Minnesota, Detroit, Green Bay, Chicago, very, very solid. Then you have another team like San Francisco that's looking to place themselves back into contention. Rams are very solid. Tampa is solid. So, you have so many different teams, and you have teams with young quarterbacks. You also have Dak Prescott coming off of a possible, career-changing injury. So, yeah, they're undervalued, and there's a reason, because you have to scratch your head and look at the whole landscape. And we didn't even talk about the AFC, but, it's hard to really look at them and say, wow, are they going to make a playoff push, when you kind of in the back of your head think they're going to lose 4 games to, the Commanders and the Eagles 2-2, in my opinion. So, unless there's vast improvement and, the coaching staff makes massive improvements, which I don't pin all the blame on McCarthy, guys. I think he's a solid coach. I mean, he's made some mistakes. He's had some troubles and some issues, but he's also got a Super Bowl. So, I don't understand why people would bet on the Dallas Cowboys this year. You have running back issues, totally. Defense is, probably about the same as last year, which was horrible. And like we discussed, Dak is coming off a major injury. You have problems outside, of the facility, guys in their personal lives and making mistakes. Parsons was a whole issue throughout the offseason. And we'll see what CD could bring to the table. I know he's the ultra-talented wide receiver that we do have on the roster, but it's even more pressure-filled now for him. And Dallas is going to have a lot of issues. You could see on the bottom right there, minus 240. When is the last time you've seen that from a Dallas Cowboy roster going into the regular season, where it's a definitive, basically laying 250 that they will not make the playoffs? And I think we've made the right line. I just can't see them, whereas on the other hand, Chris's Steelers, they've made vast improvements and strides to try to accomplish and to get to the playoffs. And they were on the cusp last year, and Dallas was nowhere to be found. So I find very few positives on this Dallas Cowboy roster in the front office or on the coaching staff with the changes. So we'll see how it plays out, but I'm not looking forward to this season as a Dallas Cowboy fan. So, that's just me and my feelings and thoughts on my own team.
That was 5 minutes of Dwayne Colucci trashing the Dallas Cowboys. There you go. That's to summarize, they stink. That's the summary of what Dwayne just said there. All right, let's go over to baseball. Dwayne, as we all expected, going into the final week of July, the final full week of July, I should say, the teams with the three best records in baseball, the Tigers, the Cubs, and I want to start with the Brewers, who were really an afterthought about 2 months ago, and then since then have skyrocketed into a tie in the NL Central. They're 19 games over 500. They've won 10 straight, including 6-0 against the Dodgers in that 10-game winning streak, no less. I just will ask you, just from a perspective of, hey, when do we start really tinkering with the future numbers on this team? That's the question. When is the time to start really, from your perspective of, all right, maybe we don't believe this team is a big time championship threat, but we're on July 21st and they're a half game behind Detroit for the best record in all Major League Baseball right now, 99 games in.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you got to make adjustments. We talked about this, a month ago. I would have made the adjustments because the Cubs should never be 7-1 to win a division. And I've said this now the last 3 weeks on this show. The Cubs are nowhere near. They're a great team playing this year, very high level. But look at it. Dodgers got crushed this whole week. They lost, hobbling into the All-Star break. And these teams are only 1 game ahead of the Dodgers, basically, in the win column. So, you really can't tinker too much because the Dodgers are still in the National League. And as long as San Francisco continues to get swept by opponents, San Diego is having trouble, Arizona's nowhere to be found, it's hard to tinker with the odds because you know that the Cubs are still going to be the front runner. And now you could see how it's reined in from 7-1 to 240. Wow, what a change. And it's Chicago Cub baseball. You have to take that into consideration as well. Milwaukee is playing at a fabulous level. They are beating the Los Angeles Dodgers, who are perceived to be the best team in baseball, but that remains to be seen. They got a lot of lineup trouble. They're really not producing runs, and when they produce runs like yesterday, they get outscored. So the Dodgers have to rectify a lot of things. Dave Roberts better start cracking the whip and starting to make maneuvers. You saw Mookie was moved up into the first slot in the order yesterday, which I think he should be. You want to get OHTANI as many at-bats as possible, but you can't factor that in. I mean, why isn't Aaron Judge batting leadoff then? For that matter, you want to put the guy where he could produce and drive in runs and best suited for the lineup. And I never felt OHTANI was the best suited as a leadoff hitter. Definitely second or third in the position is where he should be batting. You're going to almost get as many at bats. So I don't understand what that was all about. I think Betts will start to produce now in the top portion of the lineup. And it's hard to, you have to rein in the division odds, but to win the World Series, I don't know how much adjustments, Jeff, you could really make because you still have these other teams that you have to calculate, and Milwaukee is playing over their head. The Cubs are playing over their heads. I still believe that the Dodgers, Mets, and Phillies are better than these two teams, but that remains to be seen. I mean, you look at the wild card, it's wide open. San Diego is still there. San Francisco is right there. Cincinnati in that division. If they start to get or accumulate wins and put together a solid winning streak, they could be a solid option as well. Even a team like St. Louis, who we were saying were horrible and just not good about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, now they're above 500 again. Arizona, they're clawing, but they're still far behind the Dodgers, San Diego, and San Francisco. But you can make up ground real quickly in a series. So you can't overreact as a bookmaker. That's what I'm trying to say here, Jeff. You see the teams, the landscape doesn't change much other than the division leaders outside of the Dodgers. You're going to see Chicago and Milwaukee go back and forth. You're going to see Philadelphia and the Mets go back and forth. So I can't really make an adjustment massively based on the first week out of the All-Star break.
Dwayne, let's keep it right there in the NL. Are you in the camp that we'll probably get 2 from each division? We can pull those divisions up. Jeff and I did our predictions for 6 teams per conference who would make it into the playoffs. We both did pick 2 from each division, not necessarily the same in the West, but is there anybody that you think we are maybe overlooking that we could get a plus price that could sneak in? You brought up Cincinnati, maybe somebody like that?
Yeah, maybe Cincinnati. I mean, Arizona has improved a little bit, but they're still far behind. You still got to leapfrog 3 teams. So Cincinnati would probably be the best option. A lot of San Francisco money came in when they were hot and they started tremendous to start off the season, when the Dodgers only had a lead of a game or 2. So, we'll see how that plays out. I think the West is pretty much the Dodgers. Milwaukee was the team you could have got a really good price, back a couple of months ago, like Jeff said. So, a lot of the futures market now, it starts to get liquidated. I can't see Atlanta making a run. They've just played themselves out of playoff position. So, you're looking at teams like San Francisco, Cincinnati, St. Louis, and Arizona, which I really, don't know if they could leapfrog the teams that are ahead of them and make that wild card push. But anything's possible when you're dealing with the wild card because you have so many teams that make it and qualify for the playoffs. It's not like the old school days, Alex, of days of past. So, there is probably some value, I would say, on a team like the Reds, looking at 25-1. But, that's to win the pennant right there. You got to beat the Dodgers, Phillies, Mets. I don't think a team like that could do it unless they put together a massive win streak. Whereas Milwaukee, it's definitely possible because you're seeing them beat the Dodgers. San Diego and the Giants have had massive trouble against L.A. So, the Mets are always a thorn in my side. I said that, prior to the break, we were looking forward to a Met and Dodgers series if that could possibly happen. So, there is some value out there, but very limited when you're dealing with the National League.
Yeah, the car you mentioned the Cardinals earlier. Cardinals got pummeled in Phoenix. Arizona swept them this weekend. Giants got swept north of the border by Toronto. Reds took 2 out of 3 from the Mets. Braves had a chance to actually take 2 out of 3 from the Yankees. I don't know how they blew that game on Saturday, but That's a different discussion for a different time. I do want to pivot to the AL, and I want to go to actually a team I just mentioned. I went Toronto, who came out of the All-Star break playing again. They're playing a real team in the Giants, and they sweep them. And now the stage is set this week for what is a series that can really go a long way to determining what happens in the American League East. Blue Jays actually hopped the Astros over the weekend. Houston was very fortunate not to get swept in Seattle. Big comeback yesterday to take the final game and salvage that. But here you go. Toronto's three games clear to Yankees. Yankees took 2 out of 3 from Atlanta down in the ATL. 3 games starting tonight in the Rogers Center, north of the border, Dwayne. We saw this series a month ago. Toronto swept 4 from the Yankees. That was really the pivot point. And another pivot point potentially here for the Yankees to get themselves squarely back in the race. And they take 2 out of 3, Dwayne. Let's face it, they'll be the betting favorites come Thursday in this division if they win 2 out of 3.
Yeah, they got to win this series. That's definitely important for the Yankees to make a statement and to staple themselves. But Toronto is playing so well. I mean, even before the All-Star break, we saw a tremendous output by this team, and they're definitely playing at a little higher level than the Yankees. But like you said, the Yankees with that big comeback, that definitely is a rejuvenation factor when you come back from so many runs and you catch Atlanta in that game and win that game. That was a head-scratcher, like you said. So, this is a focal point of the season now, and Aaron Boone has to get these guys playing at a high level. You're behind by 3 games and you're 11 games over 500. It's time to now solidify and take control of this division if it's possible. You've seen Volpe finally got hot, 2 homers the other day. Definitely Aaron Judge. He's the whole, he stirs the drink. He's the guy. So let's see if he could get ultra hot, which I believe he can. And you put together it, with some of these other guys. Chisholm starts to hit a little bit. You never could tell. The Yankees could explode at any time. Their pitching has been solid. Stroman with a solid game yesterday. He's been 2-1 since he returned, and he's pitched given them some quality innings, which they needed, which people didn't feel he was capable of. So if you could put this together, the Yankees are still the best team in the American League East and maybe the best team in the American League, but that remains to be seen. There's a lot of baseball to be played. I still believe Detroit is susceptible when you get to a playoff series, especially if you could beat Tariq Skubal in the first game of that series, which you'll be facing this ace and probably the American League Cy Young winner. But, these new teams that come into the playoffs, they don't always carry that momentum. I always say that. I like the teams that have been there, done that. Yankees, Astros, these are teams with vast playoff experience. Detroit, they have some experience, but not particularly on this roster. It's going to be interesting to see how they react, how other teams react. Teams like the Red Sox, like Seattle, they definitely have to improve their play, to stay in this playoff race. But I think this is a focal series. I think the Yankees have a tremendous chance, and we'll see how it, plays out right away. We're going to see how, how competitive they are against Toronto, who's been a juggernaut. They just destroyed San Francisco this weekend.
You just brought up the Tigers. You also brought up Chris's Steelers earlier. I want to talk about his Pirates, who managed to get swept by the White Sox this past weekend. Now they got Paul Skenes on the bump tonight. Curious if you're seeing any action, if bettors want to back Paul Skenes, or they just are not trusting this Pirates team. Minus 125 at home against the Tigers with Flaherty.
Yeah, this is a tough game. I'm looking at the ticket count here now, Alex. The whole thing with Paul Skenes is that he doesn't go deep into the games. That's what definitely is always the question when you're dealing with him. Right now, the ticket count is very high on the Tigers. We're looking at about 2.5 to 1, Alex. So they're betting the Tigers tonight. This is an interesting matchup. I just don't feel that they have any faith once Skenes is not in the game anymore. Then it's wide open. Then you're dealing with the Pittsburgh bullpen. You're dealing with the team that really can't play, catch up, seeing a very low total over 7 tonight. That's very, very low, but this is a marquee pitching matchup. I hope Skenes really brings it because I really love watching this kid pitch. He's got fabulous talent and he's just a powerhouse out there. And it'd be nice to see if he could, start to incorporate into his game pitching 7 or 8 innings. You can't always play this delicate, porcelain doll act with these pitches because they break down even if you do that. So, there's no sense in just saving him for what? Let's get this kid going. going. Let's see if he could definitely pitch a complete game. But, he exerts himself and he throws so hard. And if the pitch count starts to get up there, I think a lot of the public have lost faith. That's why you see it as 2.5 to 1 ticket count, because if he gets removed from the game and it's tied, Detroit's the much better team. No.
Yeah, I've been saying this I've been saying this the last few. Yeah, I mean it's true. I mean, there's no arguing that, Dwayne. But it's interesting. The Tiger pricing has been. We talked about this before the break, even though it didn't really work out that last series, where the Tigers have still been undervalued at times, even with the best record in baseball. It didn't work this weekend until yesterday. Granted, they weren't undervalued yesterday with Skubal on the mound and a big pitching advantage against Lance. But again, Detroit right now is sitting with the best record in Major League Baseball at 60-40. All right, DC, a few more before we get you out of here today. I just want to gravitate over to football yet again, because Saturday, we're less than a month away from that matchup in Dublin between Kansas State and Iowa State. Throw out the record books when Farmageddon's in Ireland, Dwayne. But, I'll just ask you this, because you have a few games week 0. It's 4 FBS versus FBS. UNLV is playing Idaho State, so there'll be 5 games on the board, obviously. But how is that week 0 action compared to just what a regular college football week would be, just because, hey, there's less games, but it is also the first time that everyone gets to bet actual games in college football this year?
I mean, we haven't had the games up for a long time at all, and I'm looking at ticket count already. So, it's just great. It's a great time of the year, and people are clamoring for football. So you're going to see a high ticket count no matter who's playing each other. You look at that. We got Kansas State -3. We already took, a little on Iowa State in that game. You have Kansas -14 against Fresno State. We got some really good games out there. Stanford -1 against Hawaii. That's going to merit some attraction. So we're going to have, some good action, even though it's only week 0. We're definitely going to have handle, especially on the preseason in the NFL as well, the Hall of Fame game. So we're looking forward to it. I just want to relax in Del Mar for a couple of weeks, and then I'll just have my fireman's hat on and ready to rumble for this NFL and college football season. Football is king. People have to understand that. From a bookmaker's perspective, you have to be sharp at all times, because people want to bet this sport regardless of week 0, preseason, anything. They're going to bet football, especially when you're dealing with the NFL and college football. Not so much the UFL and those leagues, but this is definitely now football time of the year. Once you get to August 1st, people start to formulate, and not that the sharps haven't already, but your win totals, your games of the year, your over-unders on the college win totals, as well as the NFL. Who's going to win the NFC? Who's going to win the AFC? You see a plethora of action start to pour in, especially as you get to the month of August. And by Labor Day, it's off the hook. I mean, the action is going to be tremendous. The room will be packed. Everybody will have that excitement and vibe for football. Football is always king, Jeff. So we're going to have high ticket count regardless of it being week 0. And you have some of these games that definitely are intriguing. So we'll keep an eye on it as usual. And Chris does a fabulous job up there. His team is second to none, and I'm just proud to be a part of it.
Dwayne, I'm just curious your thoughts. College baseball, we talked about now that you can watch more games, you're seeing more betting on of it. College basketball, people have no problem, 350 plus teams to follow, bet on them. When do you think the time is coming when FCS will get really popular and more people will be betting on that?
That's when I start to ask for a raise, because it's just, FCS is popular, but it's with sharps. That's what the whole thing is. You're getting 90% sharp action there, Alex. Those are the guys that pay attention to the FCS. I'm not so sure. It's similar to the question of how will Formula One, will it start to get to the NASCAR level? Although it's on a smaller scale, naturally. But FCS is definitely, we put the games out there because we have handle on them. So I don't think it'll ever exceed the college football Division I handle at all, because Division I at one time, and you could ask Mr. Vaccaro this, go back prior to the pandemic, there were weeks on Saturday where we would outhandle Sunday. So college football is just full circle. I think Division I will always be king. FCS is a good handle complement, though. It definitely outhandles, on certain weeks, sports like the WNBA and sports like that. So definitely it's good to have it. I don't think it will equal, but it could really start to become popular as as they are exposed more. The whole thing, like you said, is if you could get data and watch, that's the most important thing. And as you can watch more and more of these games, it definitely becomes a focal point and people want to bet on it. That's why the mobile app is so great. You see this game, let's see if the Rampart and South Point have a line on it, and you can bet right on your phone. So anything's possible, Alex, but I believe that nothing will ever supersede NFL and Division I handle.
Everything's readily available on ESPN Plus at this point, so you can.
Yeah, but you got to pay. I mean, every single game.
You have to pay. You have to pay
how
for
many streaming services could you have? I mean, that's another thing as a bookmaker. You got to offer all these games, and definitely at the Rampart and South Point. So I'm dealing with so many different streaming services, trying and purchase all these games and give you all the information and provide all the viewing that we can, because we hang our hat on that at the Rampart and South Point. So, yeah, Jeff, you hit the nail on the head, but everything costs money. And even for the consumer at home, how many streaming services could you start paying $15, $20 a month for? You got Paramount Plus, you got ESPN Plus, you got Peacock, you got Netflix. It becomes mind-boggling at a certain point, and YouTube TV as well for the NFL. So keep your eye on that, and if you could afford it, Azalud, definitely God bless you. But if you can't, come out to the Rampart. We're going to provide as many of these games as possible, like Jeff just said, and, enjoy it. Air-conditioned facility, free parking. It's the best. Forget it. Vegas is king. I don't care what anybody says. Where else could you come in, have a nice drink, make a bet, get a drink ticket, air-conditioned, free parking? Everybody's saying, Vegas is squeezing everybody. Yeah, not the local places, not the Rampart and the South Point. We're not squeezing anybody here.
That we are not, Dwayne, for sure. He's Dwayne Colucci. Get him up at the Rampart Race and Sportsbook Director. NYBookie Dwayne on X tweets, whatever we're calling them these days. Dwayne, thanks for joining us today. Enjoy the next few weeks. I know you'll have your Del Mar trip coming up soon, but we'll see you again. See you again next week. Thanks for hanging with us as always.
Yeah, definitely. I heard Alex say, he's in office today. Well, you'll be seeing when I'm in the condo at Del Mar.
I am ready for it, my friend.
So you'll be seeing that background. The background's changed for Mr. Colucci, so it's really good. And Sports by the Book is the best. Guys, this is the prime season to listen to Alex and Jeff. They're going to be putting out these NFL breakdowns. Very important to watch the YouTube channel, Sports by the Book. This is the best sports handicapping and bookmaker show. You're not getting bookmaker perspective on any of these other shows. We are hands-on. We are right here in the office. We're booking the action, especially when Mr. Andrews gets on. You got to listen to what this man says. His knowledge is unbelievable. He's written multiple books. He's got the third one ready. I can't wait to definitely finger through that as soon as it gets published. And we are here for you guys to pass on the information. It's the best. Sports by the Book. There, it's second to none. Second to none.
Our guy, the best promoter in the business as well, Dwayne Colucci. DC, thank you as always. We'll see you again next Monday.
Definitely. Have a great Monday, guys, and enjoy this beautiful weather.
Yes, it's been really nice here the last few days, to say the very least. All right, we'll take a quick break. Trivia question will be in the bottom. It's actually Dwayne Colucci related, so check that out in the bottom in a few moments. And then Alex and I get back. We preview all 15 games on a Monday here on Sports by the Book, South Point Studio. Live as always here at the South Point Hotel and Casino.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
football contest sign-up season is here, and you don't want to miss out on the action. With millions of dollars on the line each and every week in the world's biggest football contest, there's only one proxy to trust, footballcontest.com. Maddie and Tony have set the gold standard for football contest proxy services with 20 years of experience and over 13 million in winnings for their clients. All you have to do is get to Vegas between now and the start of football season to sign up in person, and they do the rest, making sure your picks are entered every week. Whether you want to play in the Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, Super Contest Gold, or the new Super Contest College Contest, Maddie and Tony have you covered. Their new website has everything you need to know about these football contests and more, including how you can reserve the best proxy in the business. Experience matters, so go with the pros at footballcontest.com, the gold standard proxy service.
Back in Sports by the Book. Oh, both of us back in black today also. I'm Jeff Parles. She's Alex White. Big thanks to our guy, DC, Dwayne Colucci, for joining us at the top of the show, as he always does on Mondays. All right, Alex, let's dive in. 15 games across the Major League Baseball schedule here today. And we begin in Miami. The Marlins taking on the San Diego Padres. Padres take 2 out of 3 in D.C. from the Nats. Marlins take 2 out of 3 from Kansas City to welcome them back to the second half. It'll be Perez and Vasquez and the Marlin, All right, well, we get to start off with a price that I think is backwards. I understand that Perez is definitely better than Vasquez, but San Diego plus 120 against the Marlins, even with the Marlins playing much better baseball over the last 5 weeks. That's a price that's pretty hard to pass up there, Alex.
The only thing that intimidates me is bettors are actually betting the Marlins.
No, I know they are.
Plus 115, and now we're getting plus 120. So the more it goes that way. But I'm with you. I mean, yeah, they might have the starting pitching advantage with Perez going for Miami. I think the Padres are the better team in every other aspect. So I think you got to take a little bit there. Randy Vasquez, 6 quality starts, just 32% on the year. And in his last 3 starts, his xFIP is pretty high, 708. Opponents batting 283. Like you said, the Marlins are hitting, and they have been all year. That hasn't really been their struggle. Perez has been so good. I mean, shaky first 4 starts, and then now in his last 3 appearances, 0.53 ERA, a 0.41 whip. 21 strikeouts to 1 walk. So could be interesting and a little bit tough for this Padres team to try and get to Perez, but I think they can do it. And they have been better in the last 7 offensively than the Marlins. So I'm with you. Padres plus 120.
5.33 FIP, which you mentioned for Vasquez, is incredibly high. That's again, part of the reason that, the Padres have been priced the way they have in Vasquez starts. Gotten lucky. His ERA is a run and a half shy of what the FIP is, which a lot of people say is a lot more accurate to what an actual pitcher is than an ERA. All right, let's go to Washington next. Nats lost 2 out of 3 to the Padres. Reds took 2 out of 3 in New York against the Mets. Nearly had a chance to complete the sweep, lost by a run yesterday. Brady Singer and Jake Irvin, your pitching matchup, total of 9. Singer, they're betting the Nats, open minus 130. Now it's minus 120 on Cincinnati. Total of 9 tonight in D.C. It's just the normal warm D.C. night. Actually, not as bad as it's been. It's only 82 degrees tonight in D.C. Wind, non-factor in this one, Alex.
That makes sense, because over the weekend, Padres, Nats, I was thinking lower scoring games, and we just saw a ton of runs between those two. That keeps me off of this one, and even though you said the weather isn't quite as hot, I really don't trust either pitcher too much. I mean, they're both really average. Their medians are Singer going 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 4 strikeouts to 2 walks. And then on the other side with Irvin, 6 innings pitched for him, but 3 earned runs. So right there for both of them, I think everything's just about right here. Reds minus 120. I would just think it should be a little bit lower, but I'm going to stay off of that 9.
Yeah, I'm just going to steer clear. That's going to be mostly the theme here today for me, but And again, when isn't that the theme for me with baseball? All right, let's go next to Atlanta. Braves and Giants. Giants got whacked pretty good in Toronto, got swept. None of the games were one-run games. So really bad start to the second half for the Giants, who are now 2.5 games behind San Diego for the final wild card spot. They're also all tied with the Reds, who are now 2.5 behind San Diego for the final wild card spot. Braves lost 2 out of 3 to the Yankees. I don't know how the Braves lost on Saturday. I genuinely don't know how they managed to blow that game. It's sell, baby, sell at this point for the Braves in the next week plus. They're 10.5 out. They're done. It's just not happening here for them here in 2025. They are favored tonight at -125 with Elder, Birdsong at +110, total 9.5. Wind is a factor tonight because it's blowing straight out to left field in an 85-degree night in Atlanta.
So Elder has seen this team already once this year and actually pitched probably one of his best games of the year with 8 innings, 3 hits, just 1 earned run in that one. I do think the Giants should be able to get to him second time around here. That was just in the month of June, so it wasn't too far away. But the Giants, it's interesting. We'll see. I mean, that Blue Jays team is just red hot. So was that part of it, or this is it really for them? I think that they've got to take 2 of 3 of these against the Braves, and the Braves are looking better. They're looking like they can actually hit the ball and put up some runs. I just think that number's a little bit too high here for Atlanta. Lean to the Giants, but I'm not going to jump on it, especially coming in here losing 5 in a row for San Francisco.
Yeah, Giants, again, did not finish the first half well with that. Really, those 2 games that they blew against the Dodgers, had a chance to win both of them, won neither of them, and then non-competitive over the weekend north of the border. All right, let's go to Colorado. Hey, the Rockies just needed a break. That's all it was, right? They took 2 out of 3 from Minnesota to win a series, just their 3rd series win of the year. Now Austin Gomber faces his former team. Of course, Gomber was in a Nolan Arenado trade back in the day. He's a +135 dog against McGreevy of the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals just got pummeled in Arizona, another team that was really non-competitive out of the break. -150. Total is 12 tonight. Weather in Denver is 88 degrees with a crosswind, Alex. So curious your thoughts. Really was hoping for the 11 tonight, and obviously we did not get that with the total.
Yeah, I mean, if you had a full run, I agree with you. Really right there at 11.5. So nothing, don't really want to jump in with that over 12, even though I do think we will definitely get runs scored here. McGreevy, interesting, just a 103 whip and pretty good, very good ground ball pitcher. So we'll see if that can help him here against the Rockies. Lean to the Cardinals, but again, another team that is just not playing great that I really don't want to put my money towards. So -150, think that's a good price. I'm going to stay off of it, though, here with the Cards.
Yeah, I think staying away. St. Louis, after how badly they looked over the weekend, you gotta sweep. Seriously, you just gotta go to Colorado and just beat up on the worst team, potentially in the worst team of all time, potentially. So you just gotta beat up on them if you're the Cardinals here this week in Denver. All right, let's go to Cleveland next. Guardians and Orioles. The Guardians this past weekend against the A's took 2 out of 3. Actually, Guardians scored 8 runs twice in that series. How about that, Alex?
Yeah.
So probably the more surprising thing. By the way, this is the first of 4. Baltimore salvaged the final game in Tampa yesterday with a rain-delayed win against the Rays. It's Bybee and Shigano, -30 on Cleveland, +15 on Baltimore, and a total of 8.5 here in this one, with 2 guys who have really regressed over the last month.
Yeah, you're right. We have definitely seen glimpses, both of them 7 quality starts on the year. That's good for just about 37 to 39% of their starts. Not somebody that you really want to back. You don't know which version you are going to get. I'm looking for at least 60%. I do lean towards Sagano and the Orioles, but the bats do make me a little bit nervous. Is this Cleveland team a team that's going to start to make a push here at the end? So lean to the Orioles. The Guardians don't really scare me at home anymore. 22-24 so far on the year, but Baltimore, I mean, we started to see them go on that win streak, and now they've really fallen off as of late. 10 under 500 for this O's team now. So nothing, again, I'm with you. It's a tough card here. And over the past weekend, a couple weird, odd results. So kind of just trying to see where we're going for the second half.
Up next, Alex, we go to Toronto. We touched on it with Dwayne a little bit. This is a gigantic series in the American League East. Jays enter the week 3 games ahead of the Yankees. Toronto, of course, swept San Francisco, as we mentioned. Yankees took 2 out of 3 in Atlanta against the Braves. Yankees set it up right. They have their best pitcher going with Fried. Again, we don't know what Fried's availability is with that blister still. There is a hope he'll start in this series, but it is Rodon here in this one tonight against Kevin Gausman. Minus 15 on Rodon, even on Gausman, total 8.5. Last time these teams met, Toronto smoked the Yankees for 4 consecutive games in the middle of June, Alex.
Yes, they did. And before that, they still took one off of them. So they are 5-2 on the year against the Yankees. That just goes to show me that they're not afraid of this New York team. This is a huge series for them. They have not had the 1 seed in this division this late in the season in quite a while. So it's going to be a really good series. I really have nothing. I think the number is just right there with the Yankees, minus 115, a slight favorite. If you wanted to make a case for the dog, getting a plus price with how good they are playing coming into this, I couldn't hate that either. But yeah, Carlos Rodon, probably the pitching advantage here. 50% of his starts have been quality starts, 10 on the year so far for him. But it does make me nervous because both of these pitchers have already gone up against these offenses. So you never know what you're going to get second time around.
Yeah. So real quick, Fried is expecting him to start Wednesday. So that is good for New York. And this is a stay off. Well, it feels like a reasonable price on Rodon, but again, Blue Jays just playing out of their minds. Other than that series loss in Sacramento, they've not lost the series in the better portion of a month. So yeah, they're just playing some incredible baseball at the current moment. All right, let's go to Tampa next. Hey, the white-hot White Sox, after sweeping the Pirates over the weekend in Pittsburgh, now go south to take on the Rays, who took 2 out of 3 over the Orioles. Boz and Burke, so one of the better guys for Chicago in this game. Minus 220, though, on Tampa. Total of 9. Alex, everything feels just about right here in this game.
I agree. I know that looks like a pretty crazy price here for Tampa to be that big of a favorite, but I do think it is correct. It is warranted. I do think Boz is the better pitcher, even though, like you said, one of the better guys for the White Sox. Still, Sean Burke, just 31% of his starts have been quality starts this year. A couple really bad ones in there as well. I don't want to take too much away from the White Sox, though, because they did score runs, and we know that Pittsburgh, if they did have a strength, it is their pitching. So pretty good, impressive sweep for them.
Yeah, and I'll say this with Burke also, too, like when you don't go a lot of length with Burke. That's also another thing as well.
True, very true.
So
got to get to that 6.
Got to get 6 innings with those quality starts. I don't know. By the way, just real quick, wind is blowing out about 5 miles an hour to right. So be careful. Always be careful when you got a little bit of wind blowing out in this stadium down there. Still, of course, playing outdoors in Tampa, at least for this year. All right, let's go to Texas next. Rangers took 2 out of 3 from the Tigers. A's lost 2 out of 3 in Cleveland. It's Lopez and Leiter here tonight down in Arlington. This has been a huge mover. Open Texas minus 150. Now it's Texas minus 120. Total 8.5. Alex, I'm a little perplexed. I was a little perplexed that it opened minus 150, but now I'm perplexed that it's moved 30 cents here on Texas. So there you go, or on the A's, I should say. Texas, small favorite now at home in this one.
I really didn't realize through all of this that the Rangers, because, we've just been talking about their bats getting hot, but they have struggled against lefties a little bit here. So I think that's probably the move. People betting on Jacob Lopez and him having a good start here and maybe slowing down that Rangers team. I'm going to bet on it as well, but I'm going to bet the first 5 under here. You are getting a 5 with these two, and I think Jack Leiter can do just enough to hold down this Athletics team, and we can stay under that 5. I know the A's can definitely hit, and he's been a little bit up and down, but I think we're okay here at 5. I think that's just too high. Unless it is not, but let me double check that.
First five for this game is a 5, just under minus 125 here at the South Point. I actually would like to take Texas full game minus 120, but as you said, struggle against lefties. for the Rangers this year.
I think this is a very important series for Texas, though, because they have a tough schedule, so they've definitely got to get these wins.
Texas entering today's action, 3.5 behind Boston for the final wild card slot in the AL. All right, let's go to Pittsburgh next. We mentioned this earlier. Skenes against the Tigers, so the best team in baseball against arguably the best pitcher in baseball. Skenes is favored. By the way, we're 100 games into the season for both of these teams. This is just the sixth time in the last 25 years where a team with less than 40 wins is favored against a team with 60 or more wins. Again, the Skenes effect. We've talked about Flaherty, much better at Comerica than away from Comerica this year. Total of 7. Normally, I would be all over Detroit, but I'm just going to stay out of this here tonight. Also, too, for the Pirates, they just got smoked by the White Sox. Really? You're going to just pack it up already after the All-Star break? I know they're going nowhere anyway, but that was a brutally pathetic series against the White Sox from the Pirates.
I do want to make a case for Flaherty here. I like his last 4 starts. I think they've all been very good, and he's kind of figured some things out because there was one in there against Tampa Bay where it looked concerning. He gave up 8 earned runs on 6 hits. And then since then, his last 4 have been really good. Against the Athletics, went 6 innings, 3 earned runs. 5 against Washington, 3 earned runs. And then went 6 1/3 against Tampa Bay, 2 earned runs. And 2 earned runs against Seattle, who has been very good. 7 strikeouts to just 2 walks for him there. Now, that was at home. As you mentioned, he has been better at home. But I think he can pitch good here, especially against this Pirates offense. It's a lean to that side. I mean, I just don't trust this Pirates team to score runs. And as good as Skenes is, you still have to put some runs on the board. So I lean to the Tiger side. I like the first 5 in this one as well, even though it is a low 3.5. I'm going to be on that one.
Yeah, I think it's just steer clear, like I said earlier. Again, we know the Pirates just haven't scored for Skenes. Pirates, again, swept by the White Sox over the weekend. They got to get a little bit better, you would hope, at least maybe for one night in Pittsburgh. All right, let's go Philadelphia next. So both Cy Young favorites are in action tonight on the NL side. Skenes in Pittsburgh, just east in the Keystone State. Zach Wheeler takes the bump for Philly. Philly's played a pretty bad series against the Angels, all things considered. Schwarber bailed them out on Saturday night, but it wasn't for that. Phillies lose 2 out of 3, and in a weekend where the Mets didn't play well either, it's still Phillies by a half game in the NL East, with both teams losing 2 out of 3. Wheeler and Buehler, Red Sox salvaged the final game at Wrigley yesterday afternoon. Buehler's a big dog here, not a shock. Plus 185 on the Bo Sox, minus 210 on Philly, and a total of 8 at Citizens Bank tonight, Alex.
I really can't do anything here, Jeff. I'd love to back Wheeler. Just a 0.86 whip still on the year. I think that number's right. I'm not going to lay the run line, though, here with the home team. Maybe I could look first 5, lay that half of run line, but I'm expecting it to still be a pretty big number. Buehler's been okay, but nothing great, and I definitely think that Wheeler has a big advantage on that side.
Yeah, it's a big price staring you in the face on Boston, but I just can't get there, especially with how well Wheeler had pitched going into the All-Star break. All right, let's go to New York next. We'll just go up the Jersey Turnpike, get across the GW Bridge and the Triborough or RFK Bridge now. Senga and Anderson, your pitching matchup. Again, Senga has been awesome when he's been able to pitch for New York. Minus 175 on the Mets, total 8.5. Again, been a question of offense of late for the Mets more so than anything as it was over the weekend, Alex.
Still trying to get Cody Senga back into his normal groove. So only 4 innings pitched for him against KC. But like you said, awesome. 0 earned runs, just 4 hits in that one. I anticipate him pitching well here again. Tyler Anderson is the big question mark on the other side, and if the Mets can get to him. He's given up 4-3. He did have a really good start against Atlanta, but I do think that the Mets should be able to hit Tyler Anderson on the other side. So I think that number's correct, even though Senga is just getting back from injury. I still think that it is warranted, but I'm not going to bet it. I'm going to wait for the Mets to try and figure some things out offensively, like you said.
The Mets have just been all over the map offensively, and it's mostly been on the wrong part of the map also. So, again, only a half game behind. That is still a tight race in the NL East. Neither team playing their best ball over the last few weeks. So half-game lead for Philadelphia entering today's action. Mets also still in command of that fifth seed, that second wild card, 2.5 games clear of San Diego for the 5 seed in the NL. All right, let's go to Chicago next. Of course, the Cubs, with the loss yesterday, fall into a first-place tie with the scorching hot Milwaukee Brewers. Cubs, those tied with Milwaukee for the best record in the NL. So there's some good, some bad with that loss yesterday. But again, Cubs playing well, took 2 out of 3 from the Red Sox. They're going to have a bullpen game here tonight against the Royals, who lost 2 out of 3 over the weekend in Miami. Noah Cameron will go. We know how good Cameron's been. Yeah, a little bit lucky early, but that luck is kind of dissipated, and the numbers are still pretty good for Cameron.
Yeah.
But even with him being a really good pitcher so far this year, Cubs are favored at -140 at Wrigley here tonight.
I do really like Noah Cameron. I do think he'll be able to pitch well here, and he does go usually 5, 6, or 7 innings at least. So that leads me to a first 5 here. Brazier on the other side, like you said, a bullpen. He did get a couple starts last year, 4 of them with the Dodgers. This will be his first start for Chicago, but has been coming out of the bullpen and has a very impressive numbers since pitching here in Chicago. So first 5 under. Again, I've got 3 of them today. This is the third. I'm going under that 4. Might get a push, but I don't see more than that between these two and the offenses. I'm not nervous about the Royals offense at all. It's more the Cubs, and I think we've got the better pitcher on the other side to combat that. So an under for me here. I do want to say that with us keeping up with all the futures and the awards and stuff, we might have to add most wins because it's getting interesting. I mean, it is very tight, and they still have the Dodgers as a huge favorite, and they do have one of their easier schedules coming up, but I still think it's pretty interesting. You can get some good numbers there with Cubs or Milwaukee or maybe the Astros if you're looking for an AL team. So
Detroit still currently with the best record in Major League Baseball. Again, it's, as you see, 100 games, 99 games in for most teams at this point. Dodgers, again, not playing well, even though they took 2 out of 3 from San Francisco before the break, and then got smoked by the Brewers this weekend again.
yes.
Just, again, I genuinely can't believe what Milwaukee is doing right now. We'll get to the Brewers right here because they're in Seattle, and this is a good pitching matchup. It's George Kirby on the Seattle side. By the way, Mariners took 2 out of 3 from Houston and had a lead into the 6th inning last night before it blew up on them, really with a chance to get within 2, or would have really made things interesting out west. 4, a little more interesting, but missed an opportunity to really tighten the thing on the Astros. So Brandon Woodruff's going to go for Milwaukee. This is Woodruff's 3rd start. Of course, didn't pitch at all last year after significant injury at the end of the 23 season. Woodruff's first start was really good. 6 high-quality innings in a 3-1 win against Miami. Last time out, not as efficient, did strike out 10.
Yeah.
His strikeout numbers are very high, only 10 in the 3rd innings so far, and he struck out 18. Now, granted, it's Miami and Washington, but again, we've talked about Seattle and their offensive struggles at home, especially. Kirby's favored. It's -115 and then even on Woodruff, total of 7. I probably would look to a first 5 under, but again, we are at a low 3.5 on the first 5 here, Alex.
And I was all about it, but I am a little bit nervous because, I mean, if you look at all the teams and their last 7, looking at their offensive numbers, I mean, these are two of the best. The Brewers, 293 average as a team, on base percentage 365 and a 131 WRC plus. And then the Mariners, 285 batting average, 378 on base percentage, and a 153 WRC plus. So that made me a little bit nervous, but I do think both pitchers can pitch well. I think if I do what my dad does and take off that half a run for each pitcher being over 100, I'm down to 6 here. So that leads full game under, and that leads first 5 under too. But I'm probably just going to stay off of it with these two hot offenses.
Big series too. Again for Seattle, still in the 5th slot in the AL, still in the playoff chase. And again, Milwaukee, hottest team on earth right now, 10 straight wins, tied for the best record in the NL. Boy, what a price you could have got on that probably about 6 weeks ago before their 2 elongated hot streaks. All right, let's go to Arizona next. Diamondbacks pulverized the Cardinals over the weekend, which, again, really Arizona should not be convincing themselves to not sell at the deadline. They're probably still far back. Suarez is Suarez had multiple home run games over the weekend. Suarez up to 37 homers. Crazy. What a year he's had. Would be the best piece on the market by margin. And again, those pitchers all with only 1 year remaining under deal. So can really get some good get some good returns of Arizona. But their favorite tonight with Gallen at -140. Gordon on the other side for Houston. Of course, Stroh's lost 2 out of 3 in Seattle. Total of 9. We've talked about it with Gallen all year. He just has not been the same guy as he's been in the past, Alex.
No, and I really don't trust Gordon on the other side either. He's definitely can give up some runs here. So it'd only be a look at the over, which scares me with the Astros. I feel like I bet more of their unders, especially with their good pitching staff, but I'm not worried about it in this one. And looking at their numbers, their median numbers, Gordon going 5 innings, 3 earned runs for him. And Zach Gallen going 5 or 6 and giving up 4 earned runs. So that's a total of 7 right there just in the first 5. And then if they can add some on with the bullpen. So it would only be a look at the over either way, first 5 or full game.
Yeah, it would only be the over. We'll just take the full game. Let's get the bullpen. Let's get the Arizona bullpen involved also. So total of 9. Again, Diamondbacks really just for their sake, for long term, realistically speaking, they're not gonna make the postseason. They just have too many teams to hop in the NL, including their own division. And man, you can get a really good package back for Suarez. You can get a really good package for Kelly, for Gallen. Again, guys whose contracts are expiring. And realistically speaking, Arizona's probably not going to re-sign Merrill Kelly. Or Gallen may be a little bit different, but Kelly, 36 years old, you're not going to give him big money if you're Arizona. So probably cash in the better way to do it if you're the D-backs. All right, last one. OHTANI gets the ball for the Dodgers, who, of course, got swept over the weekend by the Brewers. They welcome Minnesota. You know, I'll just say this with the Dodgers, and Dwayne brought up the lineup switch with putting Betts 1, OHTANI 2. I don't really think that's a gigantic move by any stretch. What concerns me is that they're banged up, because even though Freeman's x-rays were negative yesterday, he got hit in a pretty sensitive part of his wrist by a pitch. We'll see if he's able to play tonight. They probably going to need a day or two to rest that. But just for the Dodgers, and even though last year I never thought the Dodgers were overly dominant a year ago in the regular season, and then they turned into a dominant team in the postseason after they got in the 2-1 hole against San Diego. They were dominant the rest of the way in that postseason, 10-3 en route to a title in the 13-game stretch. I don't know if the Dodgers have that in them this year, and it's so strange to say with looking like their pitching is going to get healthier down the stretch. Now, that could change it. Does Glasnow turn into the ace? Does Snell come back and actually be healthy the whole way through when he's back? But this team it could be that they're just completely disinterested off of winning a World Series. It doesn't look like they had the same sort of gas that they had a year ago, even though they weren't dominant in the regular season either last year. You saw it spurts. Oh, yes. This team's got the gas when they needed. We haven't really seen that other than for about a 3-week period in the month of June. That was really it for LA when they really looked like, hey, they're clearly the best team in baseball. They're -165 tonight. They should be against Minnesota, but this is not a dominant Dodger team by any stretch. Could they still win the World Series? Of course, they're the correct betting favorite, but it doesn't seem like there's the same juice there as there was a year ago.
No, I completely agree. That's why I haven't even thought about betting them for the NL or for the World Series. Now, could this be a buy low? Because we saw the numbers going into the season and they were crazy, and they have not been fully healthy this entire year, whether it is the pitching or their full lineup. So we'll see. This is a crucial month here. I do think that number is right, and I kind of like it. I think this has to be like a stopping point for them to turn the second half around. I like that they have OHTANI, and then it should be Dustin May, who has been very good for them as well. I really have no faith in this Twins team right now coming in here, or Festa on the other side. So it would only be Dodgers for me. But I mean, looking at their offensive numbers, that is definitely concerning coming into this, especially like you said, with Freeman getting a hit yesterday.
All right. Let's take a quick break. When we get back, whiteboard and trivia question answer. When we get back to wrap up a Monday edition right here, Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book. Sports by the book, South Point Studio.
We don't make stuff up here.
I would only play the Pirates team total going under.
What the hell happened to Minnesota's pitching?
This total has really crashed without plumbing the lineup. I think this number's too high, but they're landing me the 6.
Oh, I know.
Caitlin Clark drives handle on the WNBA.
Never mind all these Mickey Mouse other stations. We are giving you hands-on information.
Welcome back in, Sports by the Book, wrapping things up. Alex has the whiteboard all ready to go. But first, trivia question, and Vince, as I said to Vince this morning when I saw the trivia question, Vince is trying to beat you guys this month. He's won twice and now tastes blood in the water to win trivia. Now he's got a long way to go to catch Nick. So last week, Dwayne Colucci joined us, discuss Home Run Derby and what's going on in the MLB second half. What were the 3 things that Dwayne said he was most looking forward to in the second half of the MLB season? Ryan, I've been waiting to say this. Roll the clip as you now slide into the second half. Give me 2 baseball things that you're looking forward to.
I'm really hoping that the Dodgers and Mets could play in the playoffs again.
Be fine with me, Dwayne.
Yeah, that would be a tremendous series. Definitely want to see that. And I want to see if Detroit could win a playoff series. That would be the second thing, because you know they're going to be there. And, you know, you do have a good home run chase as well in the American League. That would be the third thing.
There you go. Those are the 3 things, as you saw on the board, and JR got it right. So JR, after we had to take away a victory from JR last week because he changed the correct answer multiple times, gets one back with a win here today to kick off the final full week of the month of July. All right, Alex, shifting gears over to the whiteboard for a Monday, July 21st here on Sports by the Book.
Okay, I'm starting out with 3 unders in the first 5. So I'm going with the Athletics and the Rangers under 5. I just think that number is too high here. Tigers, Pirates, Flaherty, Paul Skenes. We're going under 3.5 for the first 5. Royals and Cubs under 4, and then a half a unit bet here. Padres getting a nice plus price there, plus 120 against the Marlins. There are my 4 bets for the day.
Yeah, I just follow you on San Diego. I'm a little bit floored by that pricing, but again, they are throwing their worst starter, so we'll see how it all plays out in South Beach and across the Major League Baseball card here today on a Monday. All right, that's what we got for you. Big thanks to the crew, Ryan, Jerry, Vince, and Drew Dog, and the tall guy, as always, doing great work here on the show. Alex, we're back tomorrow. Another 15 games on the baseball card. Right. Also be on the lookout soon. Our NFL individual team previews will be live on the channel, so be on the lookout for that. Coming soon here on the Sports by the Book channel here at South Point Studio. Alex, good luck. Start off the week with some winners. She's Alex White. I'm Jeff Parles. As always, we're live from the South Point Hotel and Casino here in lovely Las Vegas. We'll see you next time here on Sports by the Book.